What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Bourbon and Bets. I'm your host, Zach Stonerock, and joining me again today, I have my co-host, Mr. Avery Cunningham. Avery, welcome back to the show.
Hey, Zach, I appreciate you having me on again. I know usually when we have these 1 week hiatuses, there are usually some good reasons. I think this reason was because you didn't want to apologize to Carson Wentz regarding the Indianapolis Colts situation.
Um, sure, we'll go with that. I'm still not going to apologize to him, but Matt Ryan is equally as horrible as Carson Wentz.
Yeah. So can you just say that Carson Wentz wasn't the problem?
He was not all of the problem. He was part of the problem. He was not the whole problem.
Okay, 27 touchdowns, 7 interceptions in the whole season. And, Matt Ryan has 9 interceptions in what, 8 games, 7, 8 games?
Yeah, I mean, but again, Matt Ryan's the problem too. He's part of the problem, which then, raises the bigger question, like, are either of them the problem or is it the organization? Is Frank Reich the problem?
I think it's just a whole problem. They just fired their offensive coordinator. So I think it's just I think the whole organization kind of stinks right now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. The offensive line hasn't been playing up to their potential. They're not paying up to their pay grade, I guess. I don't know. The Colts are they're not the team that I think everyone expected them to be when they signed Matt Ryan, which, I mean, Matt Ryan in his younger years, great quarterback, but he's kind of fallen off later in his career. He's older now. So I don't know. I think maybe there was too much hype.
Yeah. I would go with that. I mean, they thought they was getting, this guy was a leader. I mean, all the bad things that Jim Irsay said about Carson Wentz as they shipped him out to Washington. You expected this team, to push for playoffs. I mean, technically they're still in the running to, like, for the AFC South, just because they got the Jaguars and the Texans. Titans is just our only Achilles heel that can never beat them. But it's just I don't know. It's like a honorable tank, because I don't think they are tanking, but based off the moves that they're making, that they kind of are taking. It's weird. The organization, something funky is going on. I think there's going to be some changes in this offseason. So I mean, with obviously, I think there'll be another quarterback, whoever that quarterback is. We'll see. But yeah, it's a funky organization right now. Jim Irsay is not looking real too hot.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, Jim Irsay, I'm pretty sure that he made a promise to the city of Indianapolis that, I think this was 2 or 3 years ago, he guaranteed a Super Bowl in the next 10 years. And I don't see them on track for that right now. Now, 10 years is a long time. Like, you can start with a terrible team and 10 years later, you could have a great team just through building it correctly and free agents and the draft and different things like that. But just the way that he made that statement, he made it seem like it was going to happen soon. And I don't think that's happening anytime soon for the Colts. Too many questions at quarterback. Obviously, Matt Ryan's benched. Sam Ehlinger, not. I mean, maybe he'll come into his own, but like still not great right now. Give him some time.
And another thing, like, if they weren't taking you, don't you think they'll start Nick Foles? I know you're really high on Nick Foles.
Oh, big Nick Foles fan, especially since he won that Super Bowl for Carson Wentz.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I looked at that this morning, and when I was going through and setting my daily fantasy lineups, I was scrolling, and you always got to check for like the cheaper quarterbacks, and I saw Nick Foles on the list, and to be honest with you, like, I completely forgot that he was on Indy. I forgot that he was even there on the team, but I saw him and I was like, does Nick come back in and save the day again? Does he lead the Colts to the Super Bowl that Jim Irsay is promising? Is that what's going to happen?
That would be the best story in this decade if that happens. Like,
Nick Foles would be a legend. I mean, he would go down in history as the world's greatest backup quarterback.
He would get a statue there, and he already has one in Philly. So he would be a legend, total legend. Not a Hall of Famer, but he'd be a legend in those two cities.
Yeah. So that's, long story short. I'm not apologizing for what I said about Carson Wentz. You see what's happening in Washington. Taylor Heineke comes in. They go on just an absolute tear. And
Whoa! First of all, that 3-game winning streak started on Thursday night against Chicago, while Carson Wentz was starting with a broken finger
against Chicago. Chicago.
I mean, Chicago's not bad, not bad.
They're actually tanking now. I mean, they got rid of Quinn. They shipped out Roquan Smith.
But then they traded a 2nd-round pick to get Chase Claypool. That was very perplexing to me. He's definitely. That's really high. I wouldn't trade a 2nd-rounder for Claypool. I mean, that at least maybe a 4th, maybe a 5th, but 2nd, that's high capital.
Yeah, I mean, for a guy that's completely fallen off, hasn't had a great season. And granted, maybe it's not him. Maybe it's Mitch Trubisky. Maybe it's Kenny Pickett that they were the issue. But I think even last year, Claypool had a down year.
He had 11 touchdowns his rookie year. So, I mean, from his rookie season to where he's at now, I mean,
it's a steep decline.
Yeah, you would hope. I mean, most of the Pittsburgh Steelers had, steep declines. Deontay Johnson is not really having a really good year. A lot of targets, but he's not. It's just not capitalizing on them. So, yeah. But I don't know. Second round for Claypool. That's a little rich for a team that's supposed to be tanking, But
yeah, I wouldn't give up a 2nd rounder. I mean, I could see maybe a 5th, but definitely not a 2nd. You can find a Chase Claypool with that 2nd round pick and maybe get somebody better even. So
heck, the Browns traded a 5th rounder to get Amari Cooper, and you see what he just did on Monday night. Dudes, and I'm happy that happened. I mean, obviously, I didn't wish it happened against the Bengals, but people really need to see that Amari Cooper is still one of the best receivers out here. So
again, I think he's in a tough spot. Jacoby Brissett, very serviceable quarterback, but I'm excited to see with Watson coming back. Horrible human being, allegedly horrible human being. Really good quarterback though. I'm excited to see if Watson coming back elevates Amari Cooper's game even further. Having that quarterback that has that scrambling ability, giving Cooper time to develop his routes and get open. I think that's going to help his production go way up, especially when you get Watson back there. It starts to take a little bit of the pressure off Chubb as well, running the ball. So I think when Watson comes back, I think the Browns could go on a little bit of a run. Is it too late? Maybe. I don't know.
They can be, their record could be reversed right now.
Oh yeah. I mean, they've been in some close games for sure.
Yeah.
Especially that Ravens game 2 weeks ago where they lost 23-20.
Yeah. And the Jets game where it was Nick Chubb's fault, even though the defense couldn't stop anybody, you can't get an onside kick.
Yeah.
Yeah. They lost the games, by 1 point, 2 points, and 3 points. And then obviously they lost to the Ravens by 3. And then they lost to, they got blown out by the Patriots, all kind of in the 4th quarter that poured on. So this team could really, with their had a whole lot of defensive communication issues earlier in the season, even against Carolina, they still found a way to win that game. This team could be really 5-3. Their record could easily be reversed right now. But,
yeah, I don't disagree.
NFL, that margin of error is very slim.
Inch by inch.
Yes,
Al Pacino said it. Al Pacino said it best, man.
Yeah, classic movie.
I tell you what, life
comes back to
life for both a game of inches, man.
It always comes back to movies with you, Zach. All the time.
Always. Big movie guy. Well, let's take a look. Obviously, we did have a hiatus last weekend.
Because of Carson Wentz apology.
If that's what it was, we still wouldn't be talking right now. So everyone has some travel going on. I had a few things. I know you were out of state, went up to Michigan, I believe. Mm-hmm. And I had a few things going on, just prepping for, some things going on at work. And I'm going to say my 33rd birthday. I'm sure you're going to say 68th birthday or something crazy like that. But, just trying to get some things organized.
Want to see the birth certificate.
That when you're that old, they don't actually make birth certificates. I mean, it's like on a piece of slate that you chisel it in. So it's tough being old. But so the week before that, though, so that would have been week we're in week 9, so that would have been week 7.
Mm-hmm.
We made some picks. You went 3-2, I went 2-3. So where we sit currently, you were at 12-13, so you're right there, almost at 500. And I'm at 8-17, so still a little bit behind you there. But I'm hoping that this is going to be a good week.
8-17.
8-17. It's pretty bad. That is not good.
No, I mean 12-13. I mean, you gotta get better. So this is the week. Let's do it.
I mean, and honestly, but in the world of gambling, if you can win 55% of your bets, I think that puts you, or that makes you profitable, or at least like breaks even or something like that. So you're almost there, man. You're almost back to even.
Yeah, we gotta get the people money. So
that's right. We're gonna hit one of these parlays here soon.
For sure.
This week could be it. Maybe we'll see. That's the goal. But let's just go ahead and jump into this week. So we got week 9 in the NFL. A lot of bye weeks. A lot of teams on the bye this week. I think there's 6 teams that are on the bye. So not as many games to choose from, which is why the big boy parlay is actually pretty small this week. It's actually going to just be my 5 picks that I feel most comfortable about. But we'll do our typical back and forth. So we'll go ahead and start with you. Well, actually, before we jump into this, I do want to talk about one of the bets that you lost in week 7. Carolina under 12.5 points. That one was a big miss there against Tampa. I was on board with you, so I'm not hating on the pick. I just don't. That one was that was hard to believe that game played out the way it did. So.
2 things. PJ Walker has a live arm. His arm is alive and well. He's waking up. DJ Moore out from the dead. So he had a big week for me in fantasy, which I beat you in last week. And PJ Walker has the best throw this season. I don't know if anybody watched that game, watched the highlights, but this man threw a 64-yard dart to tie the game. Like that throw, rolled out to the left, squared his hip shoulders back up, threw a dart to DJ Moore over the defense. It was best throw of the year.
So it registered as like a 64-yard touchdown because that's what the actual where he threw it to the goal line, but it was like 70 yards in the air.
Yeah, I think it was just like 60. I think it was 62-yard touchdown, but I think DJ Moore caught it like 2 yards in the end zone. Incredible throw. If that throw was made by Josh Allen or Pat Mahomes, you guys would have seen that throw constantly throughout the ESPN airways. Throw was best throw of the season. But Tampa Bay's defense has been disappointing this year. I don't know if you guys caught the last Thursday night game against the Ravens. The guys just the Ravens just running all over them. Tyler Linderbaum, the center from the Ravens, he just made Devin White's night just had a horrible night. He was turning, knocking him down. Devin White really struggled that game. The whole defense as a whole really struggled. On top of that, Shaquille Barrett is now out for the season. But that game, with that game, PJ Walker played well. He had another really good throw, DJ Moore, to score. The Russian offense, offensive line's finally starting to gel. Dante Foreman, had 3 touchdowns over 100 yards last week. He had over 100 yards the week before that. This team is, offensively, starting to come alive a little bit. But but you look at the week 6 game against the Rams, he had a negative average depth of target. So I'm thinking, this team doesn't really have confidence in PJ Walker. I don't see how this team's going to score. Buccaneers got embarrassed the week before that. But, their defense hasn't really been playing all that great. It's been a really disappointing year for the defense, for the Tampa Bay Bucs.
Yeah, it's been a down year. I was listening to the Pat McAfee show, and they showed a tweet that kind of made sense, honestly. They were talking about Tom, and somebody tweeted, and I'm going to say what they said in that show. I have no idea. I have no connection to Tom. I don't know if this is true or not. But obviously, when Tom retires, he has a huge broadcasting contract waiting for him. But people said that because he kind of saw this divorce coming, that he didn't want to take that contract and have all that money, split up in the divorce. So he came back and played another season. I think he has like a $300 million contract waiting for him. Because they were talking about, did he come back just so, came back and make another 4 million or whatever he's making this year, and then have the divorce finalized and then go ahead and sign that contract. I don't know. I mean, but kind of makes you wonder if Tom's, fully invested in this season, or if this was just a play to keep some of his money.
I don't know. Life is a game of chess, not checkers. But
that's right.
I think that once they get the offensive line gelling, the receivers and Tom just haven't really been on the same page. When I've been watching them, I think that's going to correct itself. I think it's going to take some time. It's starting to be reminiscent. I think this season may be reminiscent, of his first year when it took him a while to get together. It took him to like week 12, of his Super Bowl season. When that team finally started to gel. It's starting to look like that. A little bit pessimistic on the defense though. They got to make some changes. Also with Shaq Barrett out. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes, but I'll never say that he's not invested because that's Tom Brady. So
right. No, it's again. That's just a tweet that I saw that just got the wheels spinning a little bit, right?
That is very 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 intriguing tweet. And speaking of Pat McAfee show, not kind of to switch gears here. I can't wait. Hopefully we come across that statistic you said last night at your birthday dinner. So that was funny.
Oh, about the Lions?
Yeah.
I don't know if the number was correct or not, but looking forward to maybe hitting on that. They're not included in my 5 picks, so I don't know if they're included in yours or not.
They are not.
Okay, well then let's just go ahead and talk about it now. Let's just get it out there. So, I was watching, listening to the Pat McAfee show. I really enjoyed just listening and hearing those guys and their takes. And obviously, Pat is one of the best speakers, in sports media right now. And his crew is pretty awesome too. But they have a Lions fan on the crew, Evan Fox, and they threw out some stat, and I don't know if I heard it right or what, and I don't remember the exact number, but they were saying something about like the Lions have like out of the last 734 defensive seasons or something like that this Lions team is ranked 734th or something. Like they're the worst, and they had an 0-16 season, and this defense is allegedly worse than that team. So that's crazy. Obviously, we have our friend Tim, who's been on the show multiple times. He's a Lions fan. He's one of those. If you know any Lions fans, Lions fans hate the Lions. Like they're just over that team. He wasn't even surprised by that stat.
It's no bueno. Historically bad. It's unbelievable.
I don't know. You got to start asking. Like, is Dan Campbell on the hot seat? It's not really fair, right? Because he's only had 2 seasons, and it takes time to build culture. It takes time to get your guys in place and get, turn the ship, especially, turning the Lions is like trying to turn the Titanic. Historically, they've just been a bad team. So do you give them more time?
That's going to be the question. The Lions were, pretty patient with Matt Patricia. He did 3 or 4 seasons.
I think he got 3, maybe.
Yeah, 3, something like that. And then his teams are worse than Jim Caldwell's teams. So, bad teams will do bad team things. So I don't. Yeah. So I do see the improvement. Obviously, the offense. One of the best offenses in the league. If they had a bad defense, this team would be maybe 4-3. So but it's defense hasn't really been hitting home. You can't you can't score 45 points and still lose a game. It's not, well, one of those was a pick 6 against Seattle, but still no bueno.
Yeah, definitely not going to win a lot of games giving up that many points. So
not at all.
But, anyway, let's circle back around and let's jump into our 5 picks. So I'll let you kick things off per usual, and we'll do a little back and forth here.
All right. So one of my picks this week, I'm going with the Atlanta Falcons +3 over the Los Angeles Chargers. Atlanta Falcons, their offense is kind of taking shape here a little bit. Marcus Mariota got a couple good games in a row here. Their running attack, Arthur Smith wants to run the ball on anybody, doesn't really matter. And this Chargers defense has been one of the worst teams against the run this season. So I definitely see them exploiting that matchup. A lot of injuries on the Chargers side of the ball here. We got Mike Williams not going to play. Keenan Allen doesn't look like he's going to play. Donald Parham is not going to play. So this is going to be, they'll be dependent on Josh Palmer, DeAndre Carter, obviously Austin Eckler, who's just a glorified wide receiver. So they're going to depend on those guys a lot. There's going to be a lot to overcome just with how Atlanta's offense is playing right now. I think they can get enough stops on defense, to kind of pull this game out. So I like Atlanta +3 here this week.
Yeah, so this isn't one of my picks, but the reason why it's not one of my picks is it's surprising to me with how Atlanta's been playing, that they're getting 3 points here with all the injuries that are happening with the Chargers right now. Keenan Allen might have the weakest hamstring in the history of sports. I mean, this guy just can't stay on the field, allegedly.
Well, you see Arius Foster's hamstring.
That's fair. That's fair. It's like, or Javid Best turf toe, like worst case of turf toe ever, ended his career. But and is this game in Atlanta or is it in LA?
In Atlanta.
In Atlanta. So Atlanta's home. They're playing really well. They're number one in the NFC South, which I get that doesn't carry a lot of weight, but they are winning their division right now. And the Chargers have injuries. So I'm shocked that this game isn't like a pick 'em. That's kind of what I was expecting it to be with the way the Chargers have been playing. I like the pick. Because the line isn't really shifting that much, it does make me a little worried that maybe Vegas knows something we don't. Like, they have the script. They know what the NFL wants this score to be. So I do like the pick. I don't know. Like, I thought about taking the Falcons money line just because I think the Falcons could win this game. And I know early in the season I said the Chargers were my Super Bowl pick. That was before all these injuries and everything happened. So I'm not sure who Justin Herbert's going to throw the ball to. Probably Austin Eckler, like you said, since he's just basically a receiver. I don't know. We'll see how this game plays out.
I'll see Josh Palmer having a really good game, especially with Atlanta. AJ Terrell is going to be out, so I see them playing a little bit more zone, and I think Josh Palmer, like, a lot of his production has come against zone defenses. So I definitely see him taking advantage of that. It's just that talent discrepancy with Mike Williams and Keenan Allen gone. So so I don't see him like exploding, for 125 and 3 touchdowns or anything like that. But so it's just going to be like it's with him, and Justin Herbert likes to spread the ball around. So, when you missing your top 2 receivers, that's going to be tough. And with so Gerald Everett, I think he's going to have a good game. We see Austin Eckler definitely going to get a lot of volume in this game too. With Atlanta, what they're doing on offense, they got a lot of cool designs. They're going to run the ball. Hopefully they get Drake London involved here. Tight end, his name just escaped me. Kyle Pitts. Sorry about that.
Pitts, yeah,
Kyle Pitts. He had a good game last week, so hopefully they keep that momentum going. So that's where I'm going this week.
Okay, I like the pick. I'm on board with that. I think it's a good pick. My next pick my first pick, I guess, Dolphins -4.5 at Chicago. The way that the Dolphins just threw the ball last week, I mean, Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill had over 300 yards between the two of them. I think the Bears are, I don't know, I'm confused by the Bears because they brought in Chase Claypool, which, tells me that they're bought into Justin Fields and they want to get some pieces around him, but then they got rid of their 2 anchors on defense, really, with Roquan Smith and Robert Quinn. There we go. So I mean, ship those guys out, and so I don't know what they're doing right now, but I just think that the way that the Dolphins are playing, Dolphins haven't lost a game where Tua's played the whole game. So I mean, I think they're definitely going to win this game, and I think that they're going to win it big. And by big, I mean probably like 9 points, maybe. So I think 4.5 is a low spread here. Feeling pretty confident with this pick.
Yeah, I can see it being more of a Raheem Mostert type of game. Obviously, I think Tyreek Hill, I mean, he's going to get his regardless. But, Chicago hasn't been able to stop the run all that great this year. I want to say they're giving up 3 points, like 3 fantasy points over expected against running backs this year. So I could see, and you see what happened last week with Tony Pollard, how he just completely destroyed that defense. So I do. I mean, I could see Tua getting off. Tyreek Hill going off, Jalen Waddle going off. So I do like the pick. It's just like I mean, with being on the road, in Chicago's elements, Tua hasn't been that great on the road outside of the Baltimore Ravens games earlier this year. But that's only thing that I was concerned about. But definitely can see this going the way that you hope it to go.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the weather, it's going to be pretty good weather tomorrow during at kickoff. I think it's going to be like in the 60s, so clear skies too. So I don't know. I think that the Miami offense is going to put up some points.
Yeah, no. See Bradley Chubb in the Miami Dolphins uniform. Chicago still got struggles on their offensive line. Justin Fields has been playing a whole lot better these last 3 or 4 games. So I mean, I can definitely, but that said, I can see Dolphins covering here.
Yeah. Okay. What's your next pick?
Okay, so my next pick, I'm going with the Arizona Cardinals -1.5 over the Seattle Seahawks. Now, this is totally going against the grain of what I usually do. If you listen to these shows before, we know how I'm not sure about historically. You know how bad, the Cardinals have been, since the Cliff Kingsbury era at home. The spread against the spread straight up just hasn't been good. However, I bet on them, against the Seahawks on the road. They didn't cover that game, and then a couple weeks ago they covered against the Eagles. I mean, they still lost straight up, and then they covered against the New Orleans Saints a couple weeks ago, and then they didn't cover on the road against the Vikings. So maybe we're seeing a little change of the guard here. But it's with DeAndre Hopkins back, this offense has been better. They went from around 5 yards per. Kyler Murray went from 5 yards per attempt to about 7 yards per attempt. So the offense, starting to get a little bit more vertical. Robbie Anderson, hopefully he'll start to see more targets here. It's going to be. I think this game going to be a good game. I would lean towards the under though.
I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that.
Oh, So, but yeah, the defenses are playing better. Seahawks got a young, fast defense who they basically just swept the rookie of the month, like Tariq Woolen, who's been having a good year, was rookie of the month in the NFC. Kenneth Walker was offensive rookie of the month in the NFC. So this young team has been really playing well. They're just going to keep getting better. However, this time around, DeAndre Hopkins back. Robbie Anderson. You got Rondell Moore coming out the slot. It's going to be a lot. I could see the Cardinals covering this time around.
So this is a tough one. I mean, you look just 4 weeks ago, they played and Seattle won 19-9. Mm-hmm. And I feel like Seattle's rolling right now. Like they're looking good. They're playing good. They do have a really good young team. Obviously, like you said, Kyler's playing better. He's got DeAndre Hopkins, who Hopkins has 262 yards in 2 games that he's been back. So definitely adds another level to that offense, right? And I think it helps Kyler out with his confidence in the rest of his game. I don't like hearing you say that you're taking the under, because that's actually one of my picks. Is I have them on the over 49.5. I'm thinking, or I'm hoping, I guess, that having DeAndre Hopkins back, has them throw the ball a lot more. They get some big plays. Cliff Kingsbury just came out and said he wants to get Robbie Anderson more involved, and Robbie's game is stretching the field. So I'm hoping that we do see some big plays, but I also hope Kenneth Walker has a big game as well, and can keep that offense moving, and Geno Smith keeps it up. I don't know. I'd love to see a lot of scoring here, obviously, just, with it being one of my picks, but I want it to be a exciting football game. And I think that this is probably going to be one of the better games this week.
Yeah, I think so. Because there's going to be 2 afternoon slate games. So I think it's going to be this one, and then the Rams and Buccaneers. So I don't think that game's going to be all that exciting.
I think it's going to be a snooze fest.
Yeah, it's both teams on the struggle bus here. So yeah, I don't know about that game, but maybe that might be one of my picks.
Okay. Well, I just gave you my second pick as well. Since you're taking the Cardinals minus 1.5, I'm taking the over. So what's your third pick?
Yeah, I'm going with the Los Angeles Rams +3 over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Just with how the Bucs defense is going right now, I'm not sure how they're really going to defend Cooper Kupp. I could see him having a really good game. Mostly, I don't really know how they're going to block Aaron Donald up front. This has been a struggle. I think Aaron Donald is going to be disruptive this game. So I can definitely see the Rams coming out on top here, +3 with two teams that have really been struggling. Obviously, this all depends on. I think Cooper Kupp, got a little banged up. I think he's going to play. Van Jefferson's starting to come back into the fold. I don't know which team I did combined this combined. I don't know if this either team is going to have 50 rushing yards between both teams. So there's going to be going to be big. Brady, it's going to be a lot of passes from Brady, a lot of passes from Matt Stafford. So yeah, with their inability to block Aaron Donald, that defensive front, I think I like the Rams here +3.
Yeah, I stayed far away from this game. I was like, this game could literally go either way, and either team could just take on their old form, and we could see the Buccaneers put up tons of points, and their defense could step up and make it so the Rams don't score any, or it could be flipped, and the Rams could really take off, and their defense could hold strong. I stayed away. I would prefer to see the Rams win this game over the Bucs. Obviously, just being a Panthers fan and not knowing if we're actually tanking or if we're still gonna give it the old college try and try to get back into the playoff picture. But
Steve Wilkes is fighting for a job right now. So
yeah.
So they're going.
That's the thing too, is that when people talk about teams tanking, these guys still have to worry about future contracts, right? They don't want to put a bad product on the field because it's only going to hurt them in the future. So I think the tanking is really just coming from the front office, right? They're like, oh, we want a good pick. Let's try to not win the games. But these guys on the field are like, this is my future. This is my livelihood. I'm going to put the best product out there possible. So,
absolutely. And, the coaches are for that. Coaches are aware that, the type of incentives that, these players got to hit. So they're going, obviously they're fighting for other jobs, just in case, they get fired or whatnot. So they all have that in mind. They're going to put the best product they can on the field. It's just like you said, the front office. That's where the tanking begins.
Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, with this game, you're a bold man for making a pick in this one. I hope you end up on the right side of it here.
Me too.
Yeah.
The last couple of times, the Rams have came victorious. So maybe they got a formula going. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see. I'll take Sean McVay over Todd Bowles. That's how I'm picking that game.
Fair enough.
All right, so actually let's talk about the Panthers, because the Panthers are my third pick. Taking the Panthers Bengals over 42.5. I'll be at that game. The fact that I'm going to the game, I'd love to see a lot of scoring. I'd love to see PJ Walker just light it up and and him and Joey B get into a battle of passers. Obviously, the Panthers have Dante Foreman back there, who's been playing really well. But I would love to see the pass game continue to blow up the way it's been going. Would love to see DJ Moore continue his streak. Obviously, he's getting a lot of criticism for that penalty at the end of the game, which caused I don't want to say that caused Eddie Pinheiro to miss, but it definitely looks that way, right? Like trying to kick a 48-yard extra point. And then I feel like he was probably rattled going into overtime to kick that game winner there too. But I think even with what's that?
A chip shot. Go ahead.
I think even with Jamar Chase out, I think Tyler Boyd and T. Higgins, they're going to have big games. Just because, Dante Jackson's probably going to be hurt. He got a limited practice in on Friday, so I don't know if he's going to be playing. And if he is, like, he's battling an ankle injury, which, as a corner, that's not a good injury to have. But I mean, we'll see.
I don't know if he'll be guarding. I don't know, because Tyler Boyd's usually a slot player, so I don't know if he'll have a lot of action with him.
Yeah,
but that I'm not sure about.
I mean, whether he's on Tyler Boyd or he's on T. Higgins, like,
well, they'll probably put JC on T. Higgins, which is why, this is why they drafted JC Horn, he was like T. Higgins. This is why they drafted him.
Right. So I don't know. We'll see. I just hope it's a high scoring game. Obviously taking the over 42.5. Yeah, we'll see. Hopefully there's some points scored there.
Yeah, I can see Dante Foreman having a good game. The Bengals have been struggling against the run. We've seen what happened on Monday against the Browns. You've seen against the Ravens, they struggled. So it's like ever since DJ Reader been on IR, this team has been giving up a lot of yards on the ground here. So I can see Deontay Foreman having a good game. But since I'm a Bengals fan, I will say that the Bengals will win this game, and your Panthers suck.
I'm fine with that. Not pushing back. Okay. Not going to push back on that at all. Not this season.
I mean, we had to have some type of banter, but
I wish I could say that we don't suck, but it just kind of is what it is. We're playing better, but we're still not good.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. Hope you have some fun at that game. Hopefully there's a lot of scoring, like you said.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and move on to your fourth pick.
All right. So for my fourth pick, I am taking the New Orleans Saints +2. I know we usually don't do Monday night games or like that, but I'm taking the Saints +2.5 over the Baltimore Ravens here. The Saints starting to, defense finally came alive, after they've been snoozing these first couple weeks. They shut out one of the better offenses in the league in the Las Vegas Raiders. This team. So obviously the Ravens going to run the ball. Rashad Bateman's going out for the year. Mark Andrews banged up, so I'm not sure if he's going to play or not. So I can definitely see these Saints, on defense playing better, giving a couple issues to Lamar Jackson. Offensively, I can see Alvin Kamara starting to come alive. Chris Olave is going to give secondary some problems. I can see that happening. So yeah, just with the Ravens lack of it's been a struggle against the passer this year for them so far this season. So I can see another interesting stat that the Saints had. I think it was Andy Dalton was clean on, I want to say 93% of his dropbacks last week. So this is crazy. So the offensive line is starting to play a little better. So I can definitely see the Saints at home Monday night in the Superdome coming away with this game.
This is another one that was just tough for me to pick, so I stayed away from it. I could see it going either way. I do think it's going to be a field goal game. So I think the Saints are probably safe either. Actually, no, I'm sorry, because they're only +2.5. I don't know. It's going to be a close one, but the Saints definitely looked good last week. Like you said, Alvin Kamara is coming alive. Michael Thomas is out again. I think he's going to be out for an extended period of time.
For the season.
So yeah, I mean, I don't know what's going on with that guy.
Just terrible luck. His well, I think it's it's a toe injury that he's had to have surgery on. So
yeah.
it's very, very unfortunate going from one of the better years, getting breaking the record or some record. I can't, what would have been catches or something like that.
Didn't he have like 150 catches or
Yeah,
something like
150
that?
catches, I think. That was like 3 years ago. Now, I mean, we'd be lucky to see this guy play again.
Yeah.
Well, I think he'll play again, but it's just like we don't know because I mean he's just been hurt like these past 3 years. So it's a really unfortunate situation. Yeah, yeah. I don't know if Landry's going to play or not as well, but still, with all that being said, Alvin Kamara, with all those injuries, he's like they've been giving him the ball a lot, so I can see him having a big another big game here. So yeah, New Orleans plus 2.5, man.
Okay.
Which I know you don't like to hear because of that division. So sorry.
Again, this season, if we happen to make it to playoffs, great. I don't have any expectations for the Panthers.
So quick question: like, how would you have felt if he would have made that field goal and y'all would have been first in the division? Would you any different feelings?
I mean, I'd be excited, but I mean, looking at that division, I mean, I'm pretty sure. What was it? I think we made the playoffs one year at like 8-7-1.
Oh yeah.
Like historically, I mean, I don't want to say historically because there's been good teams in the NFC South, obviously, with like the Buccaneers recently and Saints not too long ago. I don't know. I mean, being first in the NFC South this year is not like it's not anything to hang your hat on. Obviously, it puts you in the playoffs. It puts you in a good spot, but I don't see us having the talent to win the Super Bowl. So I'm kind of just here, just enjoying the season. I don't know. I'm indifferent about the team right now.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Was that?
I said fair enough.
Yeah. Going into my fourth pick, I'm taking the Vikings -3 at the Washington Commanders. This is the first time Kirk Cousins is actually playing in Washington since he left. Was it 4 years ago? First time he's been back. So, I think he was a fan favorite when he was there in Washington. So I don't think he's going to be greeted with like the hostility that some guys are met with when they go back to their former teams' stadiums. And then also just thinking about what's going on with Washington right now with Dan Snyder and all those issues. The thing that Washington does have going for them is that Carson Wentz is not playing quarterback for them this week, so puts them in a better spot. Taylor Heineke's playing well, but with the Vikings picking up TJ Hawkinson, that just gives Kirk Cousins another weapon on top of Dalvin Cook, Justin Jefferson, and Adam Thielen. And their defense is playing well too. So, I think -3 here. I am a little confused by the line because Washington, again, playing well with Taylor Heineke, but they're still not a great team. I don't know why this isn't more of like a 4 or 5 point line. But things like that are scary, but sometimes sometimes Vegas does get it wrong. Right. So, I don't know. I'm pretty comfortable with taking the Vikings in this spot here.
Well, and I was gonna have another pick, but since we have had some contrary going on, I'm gonna go with the Washington Commanders +3.
So that wasn't your pick until just now, huh?
Just now, it was something I was thinking about. It was like maybe 6th, but just for it, we're gonna go with Washington Commanders +3.
All right, I'm gonna clip this part of the show right here and make it like a viral reel just because you wanted to be a contrarian. I hope the Vikings just blow them out here.
Yep, it's not going to happen. The defense is starting to play a little bit better for the Commanders. Terry McLaurin, starting to come alive. I think he had 100 yards last week and as well the week prior, so 2 straight 100-yard games here. I think him and Heineke have a good connection. So they got some. Washington has some weapons here. J.D. McKissick will be out this game, I think. So it's going to be interesting to see what Antonio Gibson can do. I'm a little bit higher on Antonio Gibson as opposed to a lot of other people. So I think he's got some talent. He still got some juice in there. He did play pretty well last week. He scored, got involved in the receiving game. So I definitely can see that happening again this week. So yeah, I'm going with the Commanders in this game.
Okay, fair enough, man. We'll see.
Yep,
May the better team win.
Yep. And if this was a Carson Wentz, if Carson Wentz is starting quarterback, I would hammer the +3. Absolutely hammer it.
If Carson Wentz was the starting quarterback, this line would be like +10.5.
Oh my goodness, this is you are unbelievable. You are an unbelievable man.
All right, moving on. So that's your 5 picks. My last pick is, and this one I struggled with. I thought about taking the spread in this one, which I sent in the group chat. Instead, I'm going to take the point total. I'm taking the Titans Chiefs over 45.5. I'm not sure if Ryan Tannehill is going to play or not. I think he got a limited practice in on Friday. So we'll see how that plays out. But obviously the Chiefs can score a lot of points. Both of these teams have very strong run defenses. So I think that's going to help the Chiefs as far as slowing down Derrick Henry, but Derrick Henry's, he's not your average running back. As a big guy, you don't want to be on the tracks when he's coming down. But I think the Chiefs are going to be able to put up a lot of points. Because of Derrick Henry, I wanted to take the Titans +12.5. But I just think the Chiefs are going to be able to pour it on, and the Titans aren't going to be able to keep up with them. They're going to try their best. So I see the Chiefs putting up probably some points, up there in the 30s, with the Titans probably scoring like 14 to 17 points. So feeling pretty good about this over now that I think about it. But with my luck, it'll probably end up being like a 9-3 final. So
I don't see that happening. Titans have, 20. I want to say 27th when it comes to passing defenses. Yeah. Teams are just choosing to pass on. Teams are choosing to pass on the Titans as opposed to like running on them. So, with the offensive line, the interior being one of the strengths and like for the offensive line for the Chiefs, with Jeffrey Simmons and Nico Autry. So the trenches are going to be a really good battle. So I don't see the Chiefs trying to run the ball that much. It's going to be a Patrick Mahomes game.
Yeah,
we're going to have MVS may have a good game here. Obviously, they got Travis Kelce, so I could definitely seeing them coming off the bye and with Kadarius Toney's debut. I can see the Chiefs putting up some points in this game. I can see it going -12.5 for the Chiefs. Just with especially if Malik Willis is starting, rookie
55 pass yards.
Yeah, it's like the game is really fast for him. This wouldn't be a good spot for him. If Tannehill plays, I could definitely see it being like +12.5. So we'll see. I mean, with the spread, I think they were assuming that Tannehill will be playing. I can see it going like maybe 14 if Malik Willis was playing. He's just a rookie. He's going to take him some time to adjust.
Especially coming from Liberty, so he's not coming from like. Yeah, obviously Liberty's Division I football, so it's a high level of football, right? But it's not like he played at like Alabama or anything like that.
Well, I think it was an Auburn transfer. He has played on, but even Auburn's off. I mean, if you remember, Auburn's offense with what's his
Bo Nix.
No, what's the coach's name? I can't. He's at UCF right now.
Gus Malzahn.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
With that offense, it's a really unique offense. He's just going to need more reps. There's going games moving really fast for him. It's just going to need more time. If he were to play, I could definitely see the Chiefs covering that large spread. But yeah, I do like the over here as well. I think I can see the Chiefs putting up some points through the air.
Okay. All right. Well, so that wraps up our picks. Quick recap of your picks. I'll let you actually do it. Go ahead and you have the honors. What are your 5 picks?
All right. So I'm underdog heavy this week, apparently. So I'm going Atlanta +3, Arizona -1.5, Los Angeles Rams +3, New Orleans +2.5, and the Commanders +3.
I do want to see something here real quick since we're talking. I didn't realize, so you just said that you are very underdog heavy. I kind of want to see what what an underdog parlay would be for all of them on the money line. Let me see here. Let me clear my bet slip here. So we got Falcons money line, Rams money line, Saints money line. Where are the Saints at? And Washington money line. I mean, that Washington money line is definitely not happening, but I mean, plus 26.85. So not bad if you're that confident in it. I mean, that's not a bad payday for some money line picks.
What's that? So $100 bet will get you $2,680 or
$26.85. Yeah. So, I mean, I think truthfully, I think that all of those games are possible with the exception of Washington. I know we differ there, but I don't see Washington beating the Vikings. But again, here we are just throwing some random parlays out there. But
that's why I play the games, Zach.
That's right. They're all professional football players. But my picks this week are actually going to be the big boy parlay as well. So it's only a five leg parlay this week. We got Dolphins -4.5, Vikings -3, Bengals Panthers over 42.5, Cardinals Seahawks over 49.5, Titans Chiefs over 45.5 for plus 23.97. So
a lot of overs here, man.
Every time I bet the under, it'll be 36 points. I'm like, oh, let's hit the under. Total points scored in that game is like 96. And it's just like, I don't know, man. I hate betting the under. I would rather watch football where there's a lot of scoring, which the league wants that as well, just because you can tell the league wants that just based off the rules that are implemented. So
yeah, I did hit on one under last week. The New Orleans and Las Vegas game. I hit on that under.
Yep. So,
and I'll hit on the hopefully I'm wrong in the Arizona and Seattle game. Hopefully I'm wrong with that.
Yeah, I don't know. That one does kind of scare me a little bit, but I just think DeAndre Hopkins is going to allow for them to stretch the field and open it up a little bit. So hopefully we see some more scoring there.
Yeah, and Seattle's. Both teams are not good against tight ends. So maybe Zach Ertz, maybe a Zach Ertz game, and maybe see one of the tight ends score for the Seahawks. So
yeah, I don't know. We'll see, but hopefully this is the week. We have a much smaller parlay here on tap for the big boy parlay. Hopefully this is the week that it hits. We're long overdue. I think we're in season 3 without one of these huge parlays hitting. But we got some college football on the schedule for today as well. Yeah. So Avery, I appreciate you joining again. You got any last minute comments before we wrap things up?
Real quick, you like Tennessee or Georgia this week?
That's tough, man. I'm gonna go Tennessee.
Okay.
I think they're an 8-point dog right now, which is pretty crazy to me, just considering, how well they've been playing. Georgia's tough though.
Yeah.
I think Tennessee's offense is just, it's going to be tough to slow them down. So
I don't know. That's the thing. Yeah. If Georgia can control the tempo of the game, if this is a track meet, Tennessee will win. But if Georgia can control the tempo a little bit, run, possess the ball, run some clock, I think they'll come away with victory.
Yeah. We'll see. I mean, I think that is going to be a good game. There's a lot of good games on today. So looking forward to watching some college football. What else you got?
Oh, that is it, man. I definitely appreciate you having me on again. We're still waiting for that Carson Wentz apology. But hey, man, always fun doing these shows with you. So let's obviously one of us will not be going 5-0 this week. So yeah, may the best person win.
All right. Sounds good. All right, man. Well, thanks for joining. Thanks for joining. For the people watching out there, go ahead and make sure you subscribe to the channel. Hit the like button, leave a comment, drop your lock of the week down there in the comments, or let me know which one of the games is going to lose the parlay for us this week.
For you, it's going to be the Vikings and the Commanders. So
maybe, I don't know, that line not moving is a little scary to me.
Was it 3.5 right at one point?
I think I've only seen it at 3. So
okay,
I think it makes sense for it to be at 3.5.
Yeah, some other sports books may have it at 3.5. So yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. But that's going to wrap it up again. If you're on YouTube watching us, hit the subscribe button. If you're listening to us, I've been having a lot of issues with the hosting site for the actual podcast to get it onto Apple Podcast and Google Podcasts and different things like that, and Spotify. So if we can get that to work, you'll be able to listen to it on your favorite podcasting platform. If not, then YouTube's going to be the way to go, which is, perfectly fine with us. That's what we're moving towards is more YouTube. So if you're watching, we appreciate it. And we'll be back again next week with another episode for you. Till then, be safe, take care, and hopefully everyone, wins a little bit of money this weekend.